How's it going, guys? It's Diego from SGN, and I'm back once again to talk about Mortal Kombat. And this video is going to be all about 5 features I want to see in MK11. And this isn't like in a specific order. These are just 5 features that I want to see. Starting off with a mode that's going to be completely different to everything else in the game. And I don't know what it's going to be or what they could do. I would leave that to them, but I want to see something like that. And what I'm talking about is something like chess combat or puzzle combat or even motor combat, which a lot of people hate, but I really enjoyed. What I loved about those modes was when I didn't feel like doing a story mode or conquest mode or doing the arcade ladder, there was something completely different that I can go and enjoy. You know, it was just a different experience, and it added a lot of variety to the game. You know, a lot of times with MKX, as good as the game was and as, you know, as fun as the gameplay was, after a while I would get sick of doing the same story, doing the same story mode over and over again. I would get sick of doing the same arcade fights because I'd done all the characters, so there was really nothing left to do there. And yes, the Living Towers are cool, they're fun, they're interesting, but after a while, it's just doing another arcade ladder, you know what I mean? It's pretty much the same thing. They add some power-ups, they add some variety to what happens in each match, but you're still just doing matches. It's still just single matches. So as fun as that is, I like to see things that are very diverse. I like to have some variety to my games, and I think that MK, with what they've done in the past, they show that they are capable of doing it. NetherRealm can do it. It's just a matter of them having the right idea, implementing it in the correct way, and putting it in the damn game. And if they do that, I think that MK11 will have a lot longer, shelf life than every other, than the last 2 Mortal Kombat games for sure. Armageddon aside, Deception had really good gameplay in my opinion, had a really good story, had all that stuff. And it's really been since MK Deception that we haven't had a game that's like really full of various content. Even MK9, as good as the Challenge Tower was, I don't think it was as fun as chess combat or puzzle combat, So I would love to see them bring something in there and really add a lot of diversity to a game, and it's much needed diversity, in my opinion. The next thing I want to talk about is tag team mode, and everybody's been asking for it. Everybody loved it in MK9, and I would be really ashamed, not ashamed, but I would be really sad if they didn't bring it into MK11. And I don't mean just bringing it back like in the same way it was in MK9. I don't want to see it just be an offline mode. I want it to be something that you can also take to online competitive modes, because one of the coolest things in my opinion of MK9 was teaming up with a buddy or a brother, something like that. My brother, I used to do it all the time, and going through the arcade ladder. Now imagine doing that against other 2 people. You know what I mean? Facing off against teams. That way, each match becomes a strategic battle to see who is actually the best duo, who is the best, just tag team, and see who in the world is best at knowing when to tag, when to help the other person, when to do like assists and stuff like that. It would just be a phenomenal thing to do, and it would add a lot of variety. And this is something I'm going to be banking on quite a bit in this list. Add a lot of variety to the game, because that's very important in keeping a game interesting, keeping it fresh, and giving you a lot of options. Because if you just keep on doing the same thing over and over again, it gets boring. And tag team got boring in MK9 after a while, because at the end of the day, it was just you and your buddy taking on, the arcade ladder, or you using 2 characters taking on your buddy's 2 characters. And that's fun. That's really fun, because there's so many characters you can combine, and you can see which characters make the most sense with each other, who actually, fits best with each other. But after a while, that just gets boring. It gets repetitive. And I think that being able to take that online and face new people every single time would add a lot of variety to the game and really make it interesting, and actually add a different aspect to competitiveness. Because let's just be real, players like me who aren't very good at the game, aren't very good at the game, they just aren't going to be able to do very well in one-on-one matchups. But if I team up with a buddy, sorry guys, my throat's still killing me. If I team up with a buddy like my man Corrado, who is an absolute beast at fighting games, I have a chance to actually compete at a higher level. Yes, he'd be carrying me, but it would be really interesting to see how far I could go with somebody like that. It would give me an opportunity to actually do something competitively, and not just be a guy who gets it up the ass and just gets beat down constantly. I'm okay at fighting games, but when I go online and I go against guys that are, pretty good, I get my ass beat. But if I had a partner who is really good, and I could actually, assist him and figure out, ways to complement his quality and complement his skill set, that would be really interesting. Now, the next thing I want to say is the crypt. Now, the crypt has obviously been in the last, however many Mortal Kombat games, and MK11's crypt was really, really good. MK9's crypt was also really good, but MKX's crypt was really, really good. I loved the way it was sort of like an open world, sort of. There was a lot of puzzles to do, and that was really, really interesting. My biggest problem, and based on me listening to the Nethercast, which if you don't know what that is, I definitely recommend you listen to it. It's the best Mortal Kombat podcast you could possibly find. I'll leave the link in the description down below. What they were mentioning it, and I was already thinking about it, was, as good as the crypt was and as fun it was to traverse it and all that stuff, and even though it was pretty clunky, the movement, there wasn't a lot of great content. Of course, you unlock fatalities, you do unlock some artwork and stuff like that, but they need to add some stuff. Like, I think it was Deception. They had really, really interesting character bios where, it'd pop up and they'd have the developers talking about characters. They'd have, I think it was John Tobias as well, talking about the storyline behind them, and it was just really, really interesting. Ed Boon would be talking about the development for the original characters as well. If they could add stuff like that, things that are behind the scenes about development, not just here's a piece of artwork and here's like 3 or 4 pages of developer notes. I'm talking about something that's like really, really well done, stuff that is really worth unlocking, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, like, as much as I love Mortal Kombat, I haven't even unlocked, I think, like 3/4 of what's there to unlock in the crypt, because it's really cool, but I didn't put in as much time as I usually would in an MK game, because like I said, I don't think there was enough variety in that game, and I didn't really see a lot of stuff in the crypt that was like, man, I want to see more of this, I want to unlock more of this. It was just a lot of the same old, and it wasn't really interesting. So I want to see the crypt maybe even expand on what they did in terms of how awesome the puzzles were and how awesome the world was. I would like to see them fix the movement quite a bit, because it was really clunky and it was really frustrating a lot of times moving around in there. So if they can fix the movement, improve the atmosphere and all that stuff even more, make it even better, and actually put some stuff in the crypt that's worth unlocking, maybe having like alternative music, having a stage or two, something like that. They'll probably want to do that as DLC, but you get the picture. Adding some stuff that's like really worth getting, and getting some bios and getting some stuff that's really, really cool. That would make the game so much better, make the crypt a lot more completable for somebody like me, who, like I said, I love that shit. I love doing that. I've completed MK9s. I've completed, I think it was, I know for a fact I completed Deceptions on the PSP, and Armageddon's on the PS2. But MKX's, I don't know, it just lacked content that I wanted to see, and that was the biggest issue for me. MK9 didn't have a lot of great content either, if I recall correctly, but MKX definitely lacked it, and they need to fix that, in my opinion, if they want to have a great crypt, and one that can truly go down as the best in Mortal Kombat history. And the next thing I want to talk about is seasonal challenge towers. Seasonal challenge towers in the sense that I really liked what they did in MK9's challenge tower. Having 300 challenges, when you finished it, you get a special prize. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, and I think that just about everybody agrees, the prize for completing MK9's challenge tower was really garbage. Like, Melina half naked or pretty much naked, like, that's cool if you're 14. That's cool if you're extremely horny or something like that for, like, those 5 minutes where you beat off. But, like, is it really something that you care about to use? Definitely not. At least I wasn't. It seemed like everybody on the forums and like another cast talking about it as well, there was really nothing special to that. Like, Melina half naked, like as if she wasn't already nude enough in her regular costume. Like, who the hell cares about that? But anyway, so I would like to see a challenge tower, maybe not 300 challenges if it's going to be seasonal, like every couple months do a new one, or maybe do like 100 challenges, and each time you get a special skin, you get a special stage, you get something, well, maybe not stages because that's a bit more like, that does go on to online stuff as well, but like skins or just something special, like icons, anything really, really cool. Something that you can really carry on and show off when you go to play online, or show off when you play with your friends. Like, I have this, you don't. Something like that, you know what I mean? Something that you have to earn, but something that's really worth earning. And I think that would be a really, really interesting one. And the challenge tower, like I said, was really, really cool because there were some things in there that you can't do in any other mode in Mortal Kombat, like whether it's throwing grenades at zombies or shooting them as Striker. There's a lot of stuff that they did in MK9's Challenge Tower that was really, really interesting, and I believe that if they do that again and improve upon it and make it seasonal, that way it doesn't just end once you complete it, but you know that once you complete it, there's going to be another one in the next 2 or 3 months, and it continues to be something that you can look forward to and something that they can continue to develop and actually, promote after launch, to where it's not just about some costumes, it's not just about new characters, but there's also stuff. Fortnite's doing a great job of that and constantly improving the game constantly. And if MK can do something like that, then they could definitely do some really, really cool things. And I think that would really improve the game. And the next thing I want to talk about, the last thing on this list, is Create a Fighter. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't appreciate Create a Fighter as much as I probably should have when Armageddon was out, because I didn't particularly care for how clunky the game was, and there was a lot of problems with the game, so I didn't really love the game as much as fun as it was, as many characters as there were. I didn't really like the game, and I think that's pretty much general consensus. So I don't think I gave enough appreciation to the Create a Fighter, but looking back on it, there were so many options, and you could really make some really, really cool looking stuff and some really fun stuff to use. And if they can do something like that, something similar to that, then they could do they could really have a major hit on their hands, because they've been doing some really cool stuff lately with a few games. And you saw with Injustice 2 what they did with the gear system. I don't want to see a gear system in MK11. I don't think it works very well. I don't particularly enjoy the way it worked. I didn't enjoy the loot system, so I hope that they don't add a loot system to this game. But I think that if they can add a way to where, one, you can create your character, yes, but you can also continue to unlock stuff, maybe in the crypt. The crypt, you see, would make it worth it. Now, having unlockable costumes and unlockable special moves and stuff like that you can use for your created character, that would make it more worth it. And shout out to my cat right there, the man Catulo. I think if they did that, that would be a tremendous addition to the game. And everybody loves making their stuff. If you look at any successful game nowadays, you can customize your character. Whatever it is, you can customize it, and that's going to be a major deal in upcoming fighting games. And I think that if Mortal Kombat can do something different to what they did in Justice and add, unlockables and stuff like that, but not in a loot system, in a way that you go and you unlock stuff in the crypt, and who knows, maybe even if they are gonna have microtransactions, be like, okay, listen, if you want these few costumes for your Create a Fighter, here they are. I would be less annoyed with that than loot boxes. At least with those, you know what you're buying, you know what you're getting when you spend your money. Whereas with loot boxes, you're just getting random garbage, and 90% of the time you're getting stuff that you don't want. You know what I mean? That's the biggest problem with loot boxes. So I think add Create a Fighter. I don't know how they would work that with fatalities. I definitely don't want Creative Fatality. Hell no, get the fuck out of there. But if they can have Create a Fighter where you can have your own special moves, it's weird, because with X-rays and fatalities and other alities, it'd be really difficult to see how they could work that in. But they can do it. They can do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. They don't even have to add fatalities and stuff like that. They could just have maybe you pick, if you want Scorpion's fatality, you have that. If you want Scorpion's X-ray move, you do that, and you just pick from a list. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just want to see what they could do with it, and I think that having all these things, including a Create a Fighter, would make this one of the best Mortal Kombat games of all time, if not the best. Obviously, depending on gameplay, depending on story, really depends on what they do. But I think that with these 5 features that I just listed in the game, it would be one hell of a game. So that is it for the video. I want you to let me know in the comment section down below what you think of each feature that I mentioned. Do you agree with them? Which ones do you like more? Which ones do you dislike? Let me know all these things in the game, and let me know what features you want to see in the game. All that stuff in the comment section down below. Let's get a nice little community here, and we can all discuss what we want to see. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way, every time I put out a video, you'll get notified. And you're one press of a button on your smartphone, one little screen tap, whatever, away from seeing my video. So that would be really helpful, and I definitely hope you guys do that. I want to give a shout out to all the people that have been subscribing to my channel. I've been getting a nice little boom here. Obviously, I have a very small community still, but in the last 3 days, ever since I put out that last video, I've been getting quite a few subscribers, a lot more comments, a lot more likes, and that's actually really, really motivating, and I appreciate it very, very much. So thanks to every single one of you that did. I hope the rest of you guys will also continue to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.